This is the Night Owls Disc Golf Podcast. I'm Shane.
And I'm JP.
And it's another interview with Clash, but more specifically with Bobby. Bobby, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, you might hear the voice. It's Bobby Cool Daddy Slippery.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Do you want me to do it? I can do that.
Yeah,
Of course.
do it.
Okay. Hey, everybody, it's Bobby Cool Daddy Slippery.
Exactly. See, it just gives me tingles every time I hear it.
I love it. I love it.
All right, Bobby. So first off, before we get into Clash, how you been doing? What you been up to?
I've been doing fantastic, actually. Things are going really good. I'm still, I'm sure some people that follow me on Disc Golf Answer Man and on social media, I'm still doing the social media things for a few disc golf clients, and then still doing a gym out here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I moved to about 9 months ago. Things are going really good. The purpose for moving away from Dynamic Disc in Emporia, Kansas to Oklahoma was to be closer to family. I've been able to spend time with family. In fact, last Thursday I went to go watch my grandson play a football game, which was fantastic. I got to go watch my girlfriend's daughter do her cheerleading at a 5th grade football game, and I'm loving that I'm back here in Oklahoma, so having a great time spending time with family, my parents, and everything. So things are going really good.
That's great.
Excellent.
And noticing on your social medias that seems like your health journey is doing pretty well too, huh?
Yes, the health journey is doing really good. I did something not unusual. I did like a little detox where I did 30 days of just carnivore diet, which is, if people aren't familiar with that, for 30 days, all I ate was meat and eggs and a little bit of cheese. It was kind of a nutrition reset. And then after the month, I stuck with it a little bit. I threw in some vegetables and stuff like that. And in the last couple months, I've lost 23 pounds. So,
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so things are going good. Yeah, things are going good on that front, too. And it feels good. It feels great.
Is that what Katrina's on? Katrina
Yeah.
Allen does carnivore diet, maybe? I don't know.
Who?
Katrina Allen?
Yes, Katrina Allen does. I'm pretty sure she is still with it, the carnivore diet. Yeah, but yeah, I follow her and I've seen her post things about having a big ribeye steak for dinner, and I saw she eats and stuff. So yeah.
Jeez. That just seems so incredible to me. Like, super, like, this is the best thing in the world. Is it?
To only eat meat?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to pick a certain food group to only eat, meat would be the one to do.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not like having a delicious ribeye or a sirloin steak or, one of my favorites is chicken thighs. I'll grill some chicken thighs, and it's so good. And now, during the 30 days, I didn't add any sauces or nothing, but now I add sauces to kind of add some flavor and stuff. But
Okay.
I mean, I enjoyed having steak and eggs for breakfast, and I'd venture out and have some shrimp and crab legs and things like that. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
That's awesome. Well, maybe we'll have to have a further discussion off air about that, because I've been trying to control my weight situation here for a while, and it's just, I always have good excuses though. I mean, some of the best excuses. So
yeah, they're called donuts and cheesecake.
exactly.
I'll have those excuses too sometimes.
Oh my goodness. Like, sweet tea is like, I don't know what it is about sweet tea. I see sweet tea and I'm like, everything goes out the window. So, all right, Bobby. Well, so we caught up with you personally. So what have you been doing on the disc golf side? So are you attached to IDEO as well?
To IDEO, yeah. IDEO Sports. So Craig Kitchen, the guy who started it all, had reached out to me. In fact, no, I remember I had him on my podcast and interviewed him because I was interested about his story.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
And him, the Kickstarter and the disc golf shoes and stuff like that. And probably about 3 months ago, he reached out to me and said he's ready to go big on his social media, and he thought of me. And so we talked on the phone and put together a game plan. And yeah, he's one of my clients where I will create content for his newsletter and content for his Instagram and Facebook so that he's active on there. And so far people, and just now recently, within the last 3 or 4 weeks, people started getting their shoes that they ordered quite a few years ago. Because, yeah, I know that's kind of the running joke as far as like, ordering from them. But I mean, he started out awesome. And then of course COVID hit, and that's just hit every industry as far as supplies and stuff like that. So that really slowed it down. And then once they created the shoes, they got the shoes on a ship, and then they were shipping it over to the fulfillment center. Well, because of the pandemic, there was so much backup at the shipping, the cargo bays, whatever you want to call them. And so that ship literally sat out there for months,
Jeez.
waiting, and with other ships too, that just out just waiting to make it to the land. So, anyways, people are starting to get them, and people are loving them, which is awesome. So it's really good to be connected with Craig and Video Sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got ours actually just the other day. I think Tuesday.
Yeah, we both got them the same day.
Yeah, and I haven't gotten a chance to wear mine yet, but they look good.
I did wear mine. They are very comfortable. Haven't been able to throw in them yet, but I kind of walked around the house. You know how when you get new shoes, you just kind of want to put them on, jump around in them and stuff. And hopefully someone asks you how fast you are.
Yeah. I can run much faster than you.
Exactly.
Turn on a dime.
Yeah, you're going to be able to throw. It's going to give you about 20, 25 feet on your distance, I'm sure.
Hey, that's all I like to hear.
Yeah, it has to. It was like back in the day when I, used to work on cars all the time. We always used to say the stickers added at least 10 horsepower on the car.
Right.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, well, let's get into Clash, Bobby. So, give us a quick background, history, just anything you can share about Clash. So Clash is fairly new onto the scene. So kind of give us the rundown on who they are.
Yeah, so what I've learned from them is that it was two guys that, particularly one guy, and he discovered disc golf. And of course, just like a lot of disc golfers out there, got totally consumed with disc golf, wanted to play it all the time. But he discovered it right around the pandemic, when it was the pandemic was really getting out there, happening, whatever. And he noticed that supplies were really low. He couldn't get any discs. The places were. It was kind of I guess it was kind of the time when disc golf was really starting to take off as one of those activities you could do when you needed to be social distance from people, and supply was really low. And he was like, "There's got to be a better way for me to get more discs." And he's an entrepreneur, and he thought, I'm going to figure out how to make discs so I can have discs, and so my family can have discs and can go play disc golf. And so he started researching and looking into it, and he had connections with some high-quality plastic companies. And he approached them and said, this is what he wants to make. And instead of going to other disc manufacturers to trying to deconstruct what they've done and to mimic what other disc manufacturers have done, he went to the plastic people and he said, this is what I want to make, and this is what I want this product to do. They said, well, you need this, and you should do it this way, and this is the kind of plastic you should use. And he followed that advice, and that's what he created with Clash Discs. And it's been so far, everybody that's tried it has said the plastic feels fantastic, the flights are great. And so he started the company, and it started doing very well in Finland. And they have, unlike other starters, they've only been around for about 6 months. Unlike other companies that started out, they have several machines ready to produce thousands upon tens of thousands of discs per year. So they have a capacity to fulfill the disc orders that people want. But yeah, they never were disc golfers that wanted to make a product. They were guys that already make products, that already have businesses, that then wanted to become disc golfers and make discs. So it's a very unique approach to how they look at the discs they make in the disc golf business.
Huh.
So when you talk, well, you know about the history of them, and it says something about a Nokia extrusion plant where they've made the cases for Nokia phones in Finland.
Yeah.
So did they own that plant, or did they just go all in and say, that's it, we're just going to buy this plant and start making discs kind of haphazardly, or did they kind of do market research, or like I said, was that owned already by one of the folks?
I don't know that they own that particular company, but I know that they did a lot of market research, and they have. I've only met one time. Of course, I've never met any of them in person. I've only talked to them via video, but
okay.
I finally got the other day to meet the genius behind the disc manufacturing, and I actually we were working on a particular disc, and I got to watch his process of how he created discs and things like that. So yes, they have done a lot of research. They've hired a guy that's a engineer that has engineered these discs, and they've definitely done their homework as far as to make a disc do what they want it to do.
That's great. So, what is your role in Clash at this point?
Yeah. So at the very beginning, they had reached out to me, and they knew about my reputation with Dynamic Disc, and found out that I was on my own. And so they reached out to me and said they needed some help with social media. And I said, well, yeah, I'm looking to take on some clients for social media. And so we came up with an agreement. And at first, it was just I would make so many posts per week on their social media. And then as I started to learn about the company and they started learning about what I had done in the past with Dynamic Disc, my role kind of changed to more of kind of a marketing role type thing, kind of helping them grow in the U.S. and some of my connections that I had in the disc golf industry, I was able to leverage and get them, certain sponsorships and get them in the door with certain people and things like that. So a lot of it very much reminds me of the beginning of Dynamic Discs, and then a lot of the guys wear different hats. And so right now I'm wearing a few different hats. I'm helping them scout team players. I'm helping them figure out distribution in the United States. I'm helping them work with sponsorship as far as like Disc Golf Pro Tour. I'm helping them create content for those social media. And then I'm giving them, ideas that I've had with Dynamic Discs and things like that, ideas and stuff. And in fact, now I'm did a little scout thing here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I live, to look for some media talent so I can start creating videos with these people to put on Clash's YouTube channel. So I'm actually wearing a lot of hats now, and I'm hoping that that'll grow even more of a role next year and going into the years down the road.
Great. So right now, is it officially as a contractor, or are you officially an employee of? So are you doing this through your business, or is it kind of an employee of?
No, I'm doing it through my business.
Okay.
As a, contract, as a contract. So I'm sure that'll change down the road, but for right now, that's the way we handle it.
Perfect.
And, we just talked about troubles with EDO getting their product here. Has there been any problems getting Clash discs to the U.S.? Have you had any road bumps, any speed bumps?
No, none that I've heard of. I mean, some of the challenges that, of course, a distribution center would solve is, the cost of getting discs over here. A lot of their stuff, they've air freighted it over, using it by air, and that, of course, costs extra money. And there's no facility here that can house, a lot of discs for them. Right now, in fact, they don't have their own store. You can't buy Clash discs off of clashdisc.com. You can buy it at Infinite Discs and Power Grip USA, and I think Local Route's another one. And then Infinite and them are acting as smaller distribution centers to get those small orders into smaller stores. But eventually, we know we need some sort of distribution and sales network in the U.S. so that we can ship over tens of thousands of discs and have them housed in a warehouse and then distribute that to stores. So it won't be a factor in prohibiting stores from, because I know some stores, just from experience, some stores only want to buy like 10, 25 discs. Well, costs can be prohibitive to only buy 20 discs and have it shipped over from Finland. That would cost way too much money to make it worth it.
Yeah,
So,
when you're paying $20 a disc, essentially after freight, that makes it a bit harder to sell those.
Yeah, so they know the need for it. It's just right now there's so many ideas I've thrown at them, and they said yes, we've got that on the roadmap, but we're trying to be slow. Thing is that they've grown so fast and they're very popular and doing very well over in Europe. It's just now crossing over to the U.S. market they want to do, but they want to do it smart and not get too far ahead of themselves where they can't keep up with it. So, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's an appropriate approach, because rushing things before market, before you have any distribution system set up or some way to do that, it can be detrimental, because one of the worst things you can do is over promise and under deliver. I mean, that's
Correct.
So it seems like they're may seem like they're dragging their feet, but it seems like they're probably doing the right thing by making sure everything's set up before they move into a new market.
Right. Yeah, you definitely want to, do the opposite, which is under promise and over deliver.
Right.
But yeah, even though from the outside it looks like you might think, well, they just need to grow fast, but in the background, those are the plans. But there's so many moving parts, there's so many things to think about to make sure that when you implement something, that you set yourself up for success.
Right. Right. So there's 11 molds in 2 different plastic types as of what I have been able to gather. What are the plans for, are they planning on basically just dropping a bunch of molds, or are they going to do that pretty slowly and steadily like they've been doing?
From what I understand, before the end of the year, there's going to be at least 2 or 3 more molds. And then a few of the popular molds out right now, there'll be that aren't available in other plastics will be available in new plastics.
Okay.
I know that they are also heavy in research and development, and they have some stuff that they've showed me that I'm not allowed to share about, but that will shock, or not shock, but will be like, wow. As soon as they showed me it, first they explained it to me, I'm like, I kind of understand, and then they showed it to me, and I was like, well, this is, and I'm not trying to, I know it sounds kind of like cliche, but this is going to be a game-changing. This is going to be like, wow, this is something new and different. Now, whether another manufacturer is working on this in the background, I don't know, but nobody has done what they're doing so far.
Okay, so it's not like it's not like the Groove or the Monarch. It's good.
Definitely not the Groove. Funny enough, that was the first disc I ever got paid to do something with, was a Groove.
Oh man,
funny.
So we've seen them release the Hardy and Steady plastic. Are they working on, like, those are pretty premium? Are they coming with base plastic anytime soon? Is that something they're working on?
There's definitely something they're working on. I haven't touched it, felt, or seen any of it yet, but yes, they're definitely working on some different plastic types.
Nice. The plastic now, when you feel it, it's like, you can feel the premium, but it's grippy. Like, you get a good handle on it. And we just actually I bought us a couple of Wild Honeys, and we were just thoroughly impressed with them. Like, the feel of it's great, the grip, everything is just fantastic.
Right. Yeah.
And that's been one of the biggest things, is the people that say the plastic feels like quality, good plastic. And there's actually a couple of top name players that I've been talking to that I would say, hey, let me send you a couple. I've been working with blah blah blah. Been working with Clash Disc. Can I send you a couple? They're kind of looking at doing some different things with players, and I did that like maybe a month or so ago, and that person the other day finally reached out to me and said, hey, I finally got to throw, and I'll be honest with you, I kind of didn't take you serious because I get, disc manufacturers sending me discs all the time, but I got to tell you, I'm impressed with this plastic. So, that seems to be what people are, their first impression is the plastic. The feel of the plastic feels like quality plastic.
Yeah. It is unique, and we had a Secret Santa. I still have no clue who sent us these, but we got 2 popcorns, a berry, and a mint.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
he knows.
Do you know?
He's just saying yeah.
So honestly, I have zero clue who sent them to us. And then he bought the Wild Honey, and honestly, every one of them are fantastic feeling, the discs themselves. I wish the popcorn came in, and it looks like the popcorn is in the Hardy plastic. I've never held the Hardy plastic before, but I'm assuming that's more of a rigid.
I had a couple that said prototype on them or something.
Yeah, they were the prototype steadies.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
But yeah, they're fantastic. They're good quality, good hand feel, and I know on the Clash website it says that's kind of what they're pushing for, is you need to feel good when you're holding. You got to feel comfortable and confident with your equipment when you're using it. And with those, I think they're fantastic. And the Wild Honey, is one that, I don't have I have a decent enough arm, about a 400-foot arm, and that disc fits me very, very well. It's a turnover disc, but it fits me very well, and it throw it very comfortable, but it doesn't dump. I mean, it is a really, really good disc.
Oh God, yeah, I the second throw I fell in love with that disc.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first throw I was like, that's nice. But then I had to throw it again and go, okay, yes, this is money.
Yeah.
And talking to the guy I talked to, Randy at Clash Disc, he said that is one of the most popular mold they have out right now. So it's a very good mold.
Yeah, it was hard to find. Like you said, I found it at Power Grip USA, but I had searched all over for it. Like Infinite was sold out of it. Like they're selling out in a lot of places because it's just people are learning that it's so popular and like the feel, and it's just great.
Yeah. So why food? Do you know the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, it's such a good one.
That's actually a great question. I don't know why they picked that. I do know that now that people are intrigued by it, they are they're going to run with it. And they literally, when we were brainstorming names for future discs, the way that they say it is they say, if you can hold it in your hand, then it could be the name of a disc.
Okay.
Like, okay.
So if it's a food item, you could hold it in your hand. It could be, so there could be a hot dog at one point.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a food item.
Okay.
They were just saying if it's something you can hold in your hand.
Okay.
But we have some of the names they tell me they're already going to use. It still seems to be food items. So,
okay.
And, some of the players that we're looking to work with, that was one of the things that some of the players, when we talked about negotiations and stuff like that, they immediately were like, and I already have a name for the disc, because they people just love the unique different names of the disc.
It was just great when we got the other discs, because it was like the berry was like pink, the popcorn was white.
Yeah.
I think the mint was green. Like the color association with the actual food item was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. So when they come up with like the fried chicken and collard greens, just let me know.
Chicken and waffle.
Yeah, chicken and waffles.
Now, one of the things they say that they are picky about is that the name has to make sense in Finnish.
Oh, yeah.
So there are a couple of names that were brought up, and they told me the translated word for it in Finnish, and it was like, okay, yeah, you can't.
Well, that would be a good way to break into the American market, though. It would be like chicken nuggets and
yogurt.
I can't remember. There was. God, I wish I could remember. There was one particular one that it was actually kind of offensive in Finn.
Oh, really?
we had to stay away from that name. I can't remember what it was, but anyway.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, so let's talk about team and your plan. So I know you've vaguely brushed on it, but what is Clash's plan for assembling a team, and where are they going here in this next season?
Yeah, so I mean they're kind of brainstorming different ideas of which direction to go. I mean, obviously one of the directions is to get some high profile players, some people that are known to get to throw our discs. That way, to build awareness for it. And then the other direction is to get discs in the hands of the amateur players, and that's through tournament sponsorships. And so they're trying to, again, it's one of those things that's like they've had tournament directors reach out to them, and they want to do it really bad, but they need to have some sort of infrastructure. It's just not a matter of sending a bunch of discs to a bunch of tournament directors. You've got to have some sort of structure behind it, some sort of packaging. How much are we going to offer? What do we give for player packs versus, fundraising versus, this or that. So they're trying to, it's only a few guys trying to keep up with demand. And so you've got to roll it out slowly. But that's one of the big things we're looking for next year is you as a tournament director are able to, call us up and say, hey, I've got this many tournaments, and I need this many player pack discs. What can you offer us? And we want to have that type of thing set up. And then we're looking into getting people out there traveling. I'm probably going to be doing some traveling next year to some some of the bigger tournaments to follow some of the players that we get sponsored, and then maybe run some events while I'm out there as well to introduce people to Clash Disc. So kind of following some of the similar footsteps of other manufacturers of getting this in people's hands more and more so they can find out. And once we feel like they touch the disc, they throw the disc, they're going to love it.
Right. So doing some sort of like, we'll call it like 2 or 3 disc challenges, similar to multiple companies that do that type of stuff.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just something that's non-sanctioned, that's fun, that is at a value cost to get your hands on some Clash discs to introduce you to them.
Yeah. I think that's a brilliant idea because I think that's something we could run up in our area and stay in similar areas all over the U.S., of course, but we're just a little bit smaller, a little more unknown, or that's dominated by a certain manufacturer, and getting a hold of something like that is on those unsanctioned events where, mom and dad or grandpa or the kids, they can all just go out and just grab these discs, and all of a sudden everybody kind of gravitates towards those.
Right.
I think it's a brilliant idea. All right.
Yeah.
So you talked about team and what you planned on doing. So we have to bring it up. We have seen that Nico is still supporting Clash because Clash just put out that they started their hot stamp program. So just recently. So, and we noticed that he was promoting it and doing things like that. So can you give us a little insight on the who, what, where, and why and all that fun stuff with Nico?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, if you follow disc golf, and you know that what happened with Nico and the official at what was the event? I can't even remember the name of the event.
European Open, yeah.
Yes, right, European Open. So, I don't know if they want me to say this, but I remember seeing it happening. It actually happened on live. I saw social media telling me it happened. We all know that happens on disc golf, because obviously the majority of my following and people that follow me and I follow are disc golfers. So when I start seeing post after post after post, I was like, oh my God. So I texted my guy that I talked to at Clash Disc, and I said, have you seen what happened? Not realizing that they were over there at the event. He said, yes, we watched it happen in front of us.
Oh, no,
God.
man.
Okay. Is that you got to see the behind the scenes stuff, and they got to see the aftermath of it, and they were very torn about what to do. Because on one end, Nico did a lot for Clash Disc as far as awareness in the USA, but on the other hand, they didn't want this to be what people thought of the company as far as like condoning this type of behavior. And so, it may seem cut and dry for a lot of people in their minds, but it really isn't cut and dry. It wasn't a cut and dry situation because they really wanted to see Nico succeed. They knew Nico had issues in the past, but after meeting him and talking with him and talking some ideas, they were ready to really help support Nico build his brand and do what he wanted to do in disc golf. And so it wasn't just them sponsoring a player, it was them building a relationship with Nico and wanted to help him grow as they grew. And so they were really torn. And, Nico was pretty torn up about everything that happened. And they wanted to help him as much as they could, but they just finally came to the decision that they can't condone this type of behavior and they can't continue to support it in that way. And they were actually instrumental in getting him the help he needed as far as the mental health coach. They arranged it and got him over there to do that. And so I think that's why Nico feels that he still wants to support Clash, because there was no quote unquote hard feelings. It was more of like, this happened, we have to make this business decision, but on a personal level, we want to see you succeed and get better so you can get back at what you were born to do, which was play disc golf.
Yeah.
In your opinion, like once this suspension is over, could they reach back out to him? Do you think that could happen?
I'm not sure. I'm
Okay.
not 100% sure. It really would have to be where Nico's head is after the suspension is over. Yeah, that'd have to be in my mind. And if they come to me for my choice, I would say it'd have to be almost like a game time decision to see where everything is at as far as where his head is at as far as after this had happened.
Yeah.
And history-wise, you've known Nico for over a decade, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, were you part of the reason he went to Clash, or was that prior to you?
No, that was. I had, by the time I got on board, he was already in the mix of things. So
Oh,
no,
okay.
I didn't. I was not part of that. No.
Okay. And so you've seen him go through his ups and downs, and a lot of us that have been in tune with the sport for a while have seen him go through his up and downs. And I know Clash has invested a lot of time and energy into helping him through it. Do you think that this is something that has a meaningful change that you might see in him, or is it something that only time will tell?
I think only time will tell.
Sure.
The thing is that, yes, I've known Nico for a long time. My first encounter with Nico was I was filming for Disc Golf Planet TV, and it was at the Memorial, and I was filming different players to create little feature videos for the live coverage. And it was hole, let's see, 1, 2, 3, hole 3, I believe, at the fountain. And it was down where it's down below by the generators, and there's that tree, that guardian tree. So he had a long putt, and I was filming different people, and he missed the putt. So I turned off my camera, but it was still pointing in that direction. And he walks toward me after missing the putt, and he looked right at me and says, "Get that effing camera out of my face."
Oh, man. Oh, geez.
And I thought, okay.
It's the start of a beautiful relationship, huh?
And then maybe a couple months later, I'm in a disc and I'm filming his in the bag, and he is the greatest, coolest guy. And I remember thinking, man, you just must have, wow, you're not who I thought you were.
Yeah.
Because I did his in the bag, and then I did a little profile video for him for when he was sponsored by Dynamic Disc back when DD was just a apparel sponsorship. And so he was the coolest guy. He was kind. He was funny. He was really wanted to do the in the bag really well. He really had a lot of ambition. So after that, it became more of just a professional relationship where I would film him every now and then. I'd do videos with him for Dynamic Disc. And then throughout the years, when him going through Prodigy and going through other different companies, I would just have small talk with him at different tournaments. And then what was interesting is full circle. Then when he got sponsored with Westside Disc, I again was filming his in the bags. I was filming his stuff, and he had that same passion and that same spirit of wanting to just succeed as much as he can. But sometimes I think his passion just got the best of him in different situations.
Yeah. It's funny because we kind of defend him slightly here on our podcast, just simply because we like the dichotomy in the personalities on the tour. I mean, there has to be a bad guy, there's a good guy, so I appreciate that in it. But as far as him, we've never met him. We've only had one. I've had one interaction with him in real life, and then one of our shop owners also had another interaction with him, which was really positive. So it's kind of, it's hard to see because off the course, you can see him in such a great light. And then on the course, sometimes that light goes a little duller,
Yeah.
So, but we wish him the best. We really hope everything works out. And hopefully, Clash, it seems like they did a very good job, a good stand-up job with trying to help him through everything. And from what I understand, they kept him there for a little while and actually got him back to the U.S. and helped him further everything in the U.S. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they helped him very much along the way.
Perfect.
Very much was there for him. They were there, the whole, day or two afterwards, they were still talking to him and still, sort of helping him how do I say, like helping him kind of process everything that happened because in the heat of the moment it happened, and then of course things started happening, and then you know the inevitability of having some sort of disciplinary action was really getting to him, and then the consequences of sponsors backing away and things like that. That was all hard for him to process, and they were talking him through that.
Yeah, and that's great because that's nothing they had to do. It's something they chose to do, and that's that says a lot about the people behind Clash. So commend them for that.
I was going to ask, since Nico was kind of the bigger figure on tour, putting Clash out there. I don't know much about a European team for Clash at all, but is there a sense that now, since there isn't a bigger figure spearheading them here, that they want to have like a grassroots movement and kind of get their discs into amateurs' hands as fast as they can to help kind of grow their marketing that way? Just have get discs in as many hands as possible and just have it grow.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a shift. Like all of a sudden now we don't have Nico, so now we've got to do the grassroots. The grassroots has always been part of the plan. Now it's just like, okay, let's continue to invest in that. Let's continue to invest in because, they weren't going to stop at just Nico. Even if Nico was still on the team, they were wanting to get other players sponsored that are high profile. So, no, I don't think that there's like all of a sudden like, oh gosh, now we've got to grow grassroots. Now it's just we got to keep going with what we've been doing and sort of keep going with the momentum that Nico has helped establish.
Okay. So being that the marquee player is no longer there, I mean, are we spending like helicopter money on the next marquee player, or is this something that's going to be, or is this going to be
like an RV or something? Yeah.
Is that the new qualifier now?
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, you just be a player. Hey, I need helicopter money.
We need helicopter money. So, but the honest question is, I mean, are they looking at kind of that second tier, out of the top 5 player? Are they looking for one of these pinnacle players? Or, I mean, where does that budget lie with them?
I mean, obviously, the logical question is now that Nico's not there, there's money freed up in the budget as far as sponsorship. Yes, I think they are looking, and everybody understands the value that a high profile. When I say high profile, I'm talking like somebody that's always on tour, somebody that ends up on media, has a great social media following. They understand the importance as well as I do, the importance of the social media following. So yes, they are looking at some of the bigger names to sponsor.
Okay. So it's really not. Are they performance based, or are they more social media based? So is this like a Kona Panis, or is this a Ricky Wysocki?
It's a case by case basis.
Okay.
If there's players out there that their social media game is on point, and they may do decent at tournaments, and then there's of course people that do fantastic at tournaments, and so their social media game doesn't necessarily have to be as high as someone else. It really depends on what you bring to the table.
Right.
If a player's constantly, if a player's like doing consistent top 10 finishes, that's good. But I will tell you that the landscape has changed. It's a lot. Well, it really hasn't changed in a sense, but it's more part of the discussions is your social media following, because I know that even at Dynamic Discs, when we would look at high profile players, I was one of the people that consulted as far as like, hey, look at their social media following, see what are your thoughts. And even I remember even talking to some high profile players during player negotiation time, and social media, if they didn't have a strong social media, it counted against them. So yeah, it's part of the equation. I've heard countless. I've heard Scott Stokely. I can't remember who else. Someone else on an interview where, social media is half the game now, and you may be a great player, but if you're not putting yourself out there as a brand, you may get overlooked.
Right, right. Yeah, there's very few players on tour that their game is the brand. I mean, I can maybe think of one, maybe two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That their play is the brand. So, yeah, that makes complete sense. So, kind of the last question that I have is, where does Clash see themselves in the future of disc golf, and what's their role going to be?
I think they want to be one of the top players. I want to say household names, but I'm more the disc golf household names that people think of when they think, when they're grabbing their bag, that they may not have every disc in your bag, but they're going to have a majority of discs. They're happy if they have at least one or two discs in their bag. So I think they're going to be one of the major. I honestly believe, based on information I have now and knowing some of their strategies and game plans, that they're going to be one of the top manufacturers within the next few years.
That's great. Well, and I think with you at the helm of their social media, you've done it once. I'm sure you can do it twice. So I think you'll be able to help them, push that direction as well, especially when they really focus on coming into the American market. So
yeah,
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's one of the things that really attracted me to them, was to find out where they're at and to just think to myself that now the knowledge I have now to recreate what happened at Dynamic Disc. Now I was just a piece of the pie.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of great minds over there at Dynamic Discs. I was just one of them, but it's great to have the experience I had and take it over the Clash Discs. Even though like I said before, the landscape has changed. I was just today made note that I remember when we would talk to new players at Dynamic Discs, 7, 8, 9 years ago. We would talk to a player at the course. We would say, hey, we would give you this. What do you think? And they'd say, oh, that'd be great. We'd say, okay, how about this? And then we'd shake hands and say, okay, we'll make you a DD player. And there was, it became a little official. There would be like some email agreements, and that's about it. And fast forward to today, I'm on the phone with a player's agent, not even talking to the player. Yeah. And the player's agent is advocating for the player, telling me all his stats, how well he did, his following, and all this different stuff. And before we even get to talk to numbers or whatever, it's like, I don't know. It was interesting how far it's come, which I knew it was going to come to that. I mean, it's obvious that players need someone advocating for them, but I just remember talking to somebody at a bar about playing for our team, and now I've got on my schedule calendar dates to talk to agents. In fact, I'm talking to one next week, and I'm talking to 4 different people, and the player is not one of them.
Jeez.
There's 4 people on the email thread, and not one of them is the player to talk about what we could offer.
Jeez. Wow. And that is because I remember a video that I believe you were involved in, and it was at like the 2000. And the reason I remember this, it was like the 2017 Memorial, and I remember you offering a contract in a parking lot with somebody, and I was just like, because I was there, I actually remember seeing it happen, and then I saw the video come up, and I was just like, that's awesome. And now you're like, you can't even talk to the person yet, you got to go through so many different levels. So, man, that's different. Yeah. But all good signs, those are great signs for the sport, and hopefully it's not too big too soon. But I think it's all trending in the right direction. So,
yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
That's great. Well, Bobby, any last things for us that you want to get out there or say, or?
No, I love talking to you guys. I love communicating with the disc golf world. I love being in disc golf. Disc golf has done a lot for me, so I want to continue to try to get back to disc golf. If you haven't, I'm working with a few different disc golf companies. So if you haven't tried a Clash disc, I highly recommend you try it. I think you'll fall in love with the disc. In fact, I don't know. Do you guys do giveaways at all? Do you have any system for giving stuff away?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've given a couple things away, like
Yeah.
through the podcast here.
Okay. All right. So however you want to do it, I've got 3 class discs that I will mail out. You guys figure out how to pick the winners,
Okay.
and then you just give me the name and address. Now I can only do it in the U.S. for
Okay.
now. So, but give me the name and the mailing addresses, and I'll send out some class discs for people to try out.
Nice.
Perfect.
I
All
was going
right.
to ask you, what are your favorite Clash discs right now? What do you?
My favorite is the Wild Honey. That thing is so money.
Yep.
And I've switched from deputies to the popcorn. I did not think it was going to happen, but I went out one day and forced myself to only putt with popcorns, and I love them. I think those are great, and I also really love the berry. That mid range is so nice for me for my arm speed.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Yeah, because the berry was one of the ones that we had, right?
That was one of the first ones that we had. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
mint
the
is
berry.
kind of the
Overstable.
overstable, like I don't want to mention any other names right
Yeah.
now.
Just
But-
overstable
No, you're
approach.
fine. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like kind
That's
of
how-
very comparable to a zone or tactic or suspect, like right in that realm. Really love that.
Zone, yeah.
Yeah, and then the berry, it seemed like it was right there with the truth, buzz ish. Is that right?
Yeah.
Somewhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
Nice. For me, it's a nice straight to little bit stable
Yep.
Right.
mid range, of course, because my slower arm speed.
Yeah.
And then the popcorn is just the great putter. I don't know that I would compare it exactly to a Judge, but it reminded me of Judge when I was putting from a long distance. But it was definitely straight enough to replace my deputy. And then the Wild Honey, I would say I used to throw the Grace for that type of shot. For me, the Grace. And now I throw the Wild Honey, and that there's again so many shots that I throw, and I'm like, man, that thing just glides so nice for me.
Yeah, I had it side by side with the Wave, throwing them side by side with the Wave, and it is very, very similar to the Wave as far as flight path, even hand feel. I mean, very similar to the Wave. It's a little deeper than a Wave, but
Yeah.
really flight path wise, they were both, and that's, I mean, very popular discs. It's one of the most popular drivers MVP has, I think. So yeah, but very close to that. But yeah, I've really enjoyed every single one of them, and I would say the popcorn for me kind of felt like a dagger, a little deeper than a Judge.
It was a little deep.
Yeah, so it kind of felt like a dagger is kind of what I compared it to.
Okay. That
So-
is pretty deep.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, what's between a dagger and a Judge? Maybe
Marshall? No, not a Marshall.
Keystone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, but it's right. It's in that Judge-ish area. So yeah, I'm.
Yeah.
It was nice. I liked it. So, but well, where can they find Clash and you, Bobby?
Okay, well, if you want to follow Clash, you can just look up Clash Disc. Just about everywhere, Facebook, Instagram. I just started TikTok. Also, if there happen to be any listeners that took Clash Discs on TikTok, please stop. There's someone that has Clash Disc as
Oh, no.
their username, and they've made no posts, and they won't respond to messages. So I made one called Clash Disc _official so that we can get some content out there. So go follow Clash Disc _official on TikTok, but everywhere else is just Clash Discs. If you want to follow my journey, where I like to share, what I'm doing with different companies, and then of course my personal journey, you can find me at Uncle Bobby Jr. on Instagram. That's Uncle Bobby BOBBYJR.
Perfect. And are you still taking new clients because I'm a firm believer. I'll be an advocate for you.
Oh yes. Thank you for mentioning that. Yes, I'm definitely looking for clients. I was doing it to where I would offer like big packages where I would do a lot of marketing and content creation for you. But now I'm creating new tiers where if you just need someone to create 1 to 2 posts a week, and that's all as a store you can afford. You just need a couple posts a week. Even if you're taking the pictures, you're like, Bobby, I'm just going to take a bunch of pictures. You schedule it. You do your thing. Then I'm creating a tier for that. And you can find, once you go to Uncle Bobby Jr. on Instagram, you can follow my link in bio, and I'll have a link to more information about that here in the next few days.
Perfect. And as a disclaimer, my wife and I used Bobby as a coach for social media for our other businesses and Door Disc Golf. And it at Julie's, our restaurant, it helped tremendously. Door Disc Golf helped tremendously. I just haven't been as diligent keeping up with Door Disc Golf, but with Julie's, we're just seeing tremendous growth still using the path that you laid for us. So.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, you guys are my favorite, but I would have to say your wife was my star pupil.
Oh, absolutely. That's how it usually is, too. I'm just the pretty face, Bobby. Well, you didn't have to laugh that hard.
I still follow, and I see the posts that she does with her employees and everything.
Yeah.
And she is just killing. She is getting it. She likes it.
Yeah, we saw enough value that we actually hired a full-time media personality or person there. So we have somebody that's what they do. They put away orders and then go film some of our employees and walk around our properties, do things like that. So that's all they do is content creation for us. So
that's awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So there's definitely value there. So, but yeah, we appreciate it very much. And I guess thanks for your time. And if you haven't got out there to buy any Clash, now's the time. And you said what were the 3 vendors in the U.S. that you could buy them directly from?
There's Infinite Discs,
mm-hmm.
There's Power Grip USA, and then there's Local Route. And then they're starting to get. I mean, you can find them in other stores as well, but those are the big people that are going to have the bigger inventory. But definitely go to your local shop and see if they have it. If they don't have it online, see if they have it in the store. And if they don't, make sure you tell them that you're looking to buy some Clash discs, because you're going to start seeing more and more, and you're going to want more and more of their discs. You can go to clashdisc.com, and there's a section called retailers, and that'll give you a list of everywhere you can buy the discs.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you, Bobby. Have a great night, and it was an absolute pleasure talking with you.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate all you guys do as far as your all's podcast. And, I appreciate hearing from you guys. And, like I said, give me those 3 names and mailing addresses, and I'll get those out in the next week or so. And that way some people can enjoy some Clash discs.
Perfect.
Awesome.
We'll announce it on the next podcast. So our regular scheduled podcast, we'll announce it on there, and then we'll get you the information.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a good day.
Goodbye.
All right, bye.